Hello, it's Tuesday the 5th of March and this is Broadcasting Scotland at 7. Been an historic day in the parliaments of Scotland and Wales today. For the first time since devolution, both parliaments debated the same motion on Brexit in both chambers at the same time. Both the Scottish and Welsh governments are opposed to the Tory Westminster government's deal and to a no-deal Brexit. The motion debated reiterated the Parliament's opposition to the Prime Minister's damaging EU Brexit deal and agreed that a no-deal outcome to the current negotiations on the EU withdrawal would be completely unacceptable. The First Ministers of Scotland and Wales called on the UK government to take immediate steps to prevent the UK leaving the EU without a deal, and to agree an extension to the Article 50 process so that an agreement can be reached on the best way forward to protect the interests of Scotland, Wales and the UK as a whole. The motion was passed by a majority of the Parliament by 87 votes for yes and 29 votes for no. An amendment by acting Tory leader Jackson Carlaw calling for the Scottish Government to accept Theresa May's Brexit deal was rejected by 89 votes to 29. In Wales, the same motion was passed by 37 votes to 13, meaning that both the Welsh and the Scottish parliaments have overwhelmingly rejected both the Prime Minister's deal and the no-deal Brexit and have called for an extension to Article 50. Scottish Government Constitutional Relations Secretary Michael Russell said, "This is an unprecedented event, the first time in 20 years of devolution that the Scottish Parliament and the National Assembly for Wales have debated at the same time a motion simultaneously. We are taking this historic step to send a strong message to the UK government that it must stop pursuing such disastrous course of action. The Prime Minister's deal will cause major, lasting damage to jobs, living standards and public services." Young people could be put at risk if there is a fall in the number of children's doctors in Scotland. However, there are doctors available, with 3 young doctors applying for each job. The Scottish Government has created 8 additional posts for 2019, and the Royal College of Paediatricians and the Child Health today called for this to be maintained in the future. It is also recommended that GPs should undertake an extra year of training in paediatrics and child health, and incentives to encourage doctors to look out with the central belt. Despite many more children being seen by children and adolescent mental health services, for more than a quarter, the wait continues to be longer than the recommended 18 weeks. There are also geographical differences, with 9 out of 14 areas not meeting the 90% target. The Scottish Government has asked for public views on how to deliver fairer disability assistance benefits. Replacing the disability benefits will be introduced from April next year as the Scottish Government takes responsibility for delivering them. The consultation wants to ensure that disability assistance will meet the needs of those it is intended to help. Social Security Secretary Shirley Ann Somerville said, "I am determined to ensure the system we build is better and fairer than the one it will replace. This would involve fewer face-to-face assessments and continuing payments. Mixed-age couples could be thousands of pounds worse off each year due to the new pension credit changes. Currently, only one of the couple needs to be aged 65 or over to be eligible for pension credits. This will change in May when a pensioner with a partner under the age of 65 will be put onto universal credit. According to the Age UK, this will result in the loss of £7,000 a year. The SNP wants this reversed and point out that according to the DWP's own statistics, 56% of people on pension credit also receive a disability benefit. MSP Alistair Allen said for the UK government to penalise people simply for having a younger partner is completely unacceptable. Pensioners, disabled people and people on low incomes should not be forced to pay the price of the Tories' cuts to welfare. The European Commission has fined 2 car safety manufacturers for setting up a cartel. A third was not fined as it revealed the cartel to the Commission. Autoliv and TRW were fined €368.3 million for setting up the cartel to supply car seat belts, airbags and steering wheels to the European car producers. The UK economy is near standstill as Brexit approaches, surveys show. Britain's economy came close to a stagnating again in February as services companies preparing for Brexit cut staff at the fastest rate for more than 7 years. And consumers reined in their spending, surveys showed on Tuesday, that's today. The figures showed that growth for the world's 5th biggest economy was at near standstill, as Prime Minister Theresa May tried to win a last-minute Brexit concessions from Brussels. IHS Markit, a data firm, says that the UK Services Publishing Managers Index showed that the British economy was set to grow by just 0.1% in the first 3 months of 2019 compared with the last quarter of 2018. In 2003, a man from London was diagnosed with HIV. 9 years later, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. The man was treated with chemotherapy and stem cells were implanted from a donor who was resistant to HIV. In 2009, Timothy Brown from Berlin in Germany received radiotherapy for his leukemia, and stem cells from an HIV-resistant donor were also implanted. Timothy is now considered to be free of HIV, and it is possible that the man from London is too, although his current situation is described as being in remission. Professor Ravinder Gupta from the University College in London said, by achieving remission in a second patient using a similar approach, we have shown that the Berlin patient was not an anomaly and that it really has, this treatment really has eliminated HIV in 2 people. The stem cells used in both cases were from donors with a particular mutation, which has only been detected in people in Western Europe, and there are few examples of this mutation. The treatment is highly invasive and not suitable at this time to treat people who have HIV on a mass basis. Dr. Andrew Friedman reader in infectious diseases and honorary consultant physician at Cardiff University, said that it is an interesting and potentially significant report. In Canada, the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, has had some difficulties recently. Today, a second member of his cabinet resigned because Trudeau has been accused of interfering in an investigation into bribery in a multinational engineering company, SNC Lavalin, which is accused of securing payments in Libya by paying bribes to officials there. An argument has been put forward that proceeding with the investigation would put 9,000 jobs in Montreal at risk and another 50,000 jobs worldwide. Trudeau has denied any wrongdoing and has refused to resign. Elections should happen in Canada around October this year, and that's politically a long way off. So it is difficult to know if the resignation of Jane Philpott from Canada's Treasury Board will affect the outcome of such elections. But Trudeau's poll ratings have plummeted. Back to the European Union now, and President Tusk, who is the President of the European Council, has called on voters across the continent to reject anti-European parties. He said they've been set up by hostile foreign forces and could try to use the upcoming EU parliamentary elections to seize and influence Brussels. Tusk, a centre-right former Polish Prime Minister who chairs and summits of the EU leaders, gave one of the starkest warnings yet from the bloc about the prospect of an openly anti-EU parties could gain ground in May's European Parliament elections. There are external anti-European forces which are seeking openly or secretly to influence the democratic choices of Europeans, Tusk told a news conference, naming the Leave result in Britain's 2016 Brexit referendum as one such example. Now, it seems that there's almost a breaking news story here from London, and there have been a number of small bombs sent to London airports and a rail hub. London's counter-terrorism police said that they had launched an investigation into who mailed 3 small bombs to 2 London airports and a major rail station today. No one was injured by the devices. One caused a small fire in an office building at Heathrow Airport. The Metropolitan Police Counter-Terrorism Command is treating the incidents as a linked series and is keeping an open mind regarding motives. London's police force said they'd received the first report of a suspicious device at Heathrow this morning at 9:55 GMT. Later, a similar package was identified in the post room of London's busiest railway station, Waterloo. A third was found in the office of the London City Airport in East London. Flights were unaffected, although the light rail link from London City to central London was temporarily suspended. So I think that we've come to the end of the bulletin for tonight, and hopefully we'll be again with you tomorrow. Bye-bye.